thanks to you guys and sponsors like Notion, and literally Notion as a software, that I'm able to continue creating them. People want to make money, and they want to make it fast. It can be out of greed, it can be out of desperation, but if you tell someone that there is a box that they can put their money into, and that box will return back tenfold what you gave it, how could you not be tempted? From the years of 2020 to 2021, the world of cryptocurrencies had become that box for regular people.
What is Bitcoin?
What is up with Bitcoin? People are getting rich from it. Everyone's chasing it.
Bitcoin is going up forever, Deirdre. Forever.
The mentality was simple. You think of crypto, you think of getting rich.
He became a millionaire at 24, all by investing in Bitcoin.
I made millions with crypto. You probably made millions as well.
We all knew someone that never talked about investing before and suddenly saying how they're putting their money into crypto, that it's the future.
From a struggling music producer
From bankrupt
to a millionaire.
to millionaire.
This is basically winning the lottery.
Become the next crypto millionaire.
Even celebrities were getting into it.
You have jumped into the world of cryptocurrency.
I'm going to tweet out the information on how you can buy this NFT.
Look at this.
They look like they could be friends.
They're buddies.
The question really became, how do I get my piece of the pie? To understand the story that's about to unfold, I feel like the Super Bowl of 2022 is the best place to start. Not because of the sports, but because of the ad breaks. An advert appears featuring Larry David, an actor who hasn't been in a commercial ever. The ad takes you through various inventions in history: the wheel, toilets, coffee, voting, light bulbs. At each stage of a new invention, it shows how many critics dismissed and laughed at them, only to be proven wrong.
Can I be honest with you? It stinks.
However, the real twist of this ad came at the end.
Like I was saying, it's FTX. It's a safe and easy way to get into crypto.
And Larry responds,
I don't think so.
And there it is. Big bold letters. Don't miss out on crypto, NFTs, the next best thing, and right next to it, the logo. If you wanted to buy crypto, most regular people would have to do it through a cryptocurrency exchange. Think of it like a central location that you deposit your money into, and from there you can place orders to buy and sell cryptocurrencies. The exchange's job is to match you with those buyers and sellers. And once you've made your riches, you withdraw your money from the exchange into your bank account. They are the easiest gateways into the world of crypto, accessible from the very phones in your pocket. Within the top 3 cryptocurrency exchanges at the time, you had Binance at number 1, owned by a guy called Changpeng Zhao, nickname CZ. In second, you had Coinbase, owned by a man named Brian Armstrong. And then finally, FTX.
I'm excited to be partnering with FTX.
If you're wondering, well, what is FTX?
FTX is like the best exchange.
They're a safe exchange where people can trade things like cryptocurrencies.
The first crypto company to win naming rights to a major U.S. arena.
FTX is a platform where they offer 85% lower fees than their top competitors.
They have the most coins. They have giveaways where they give free coins.
FTX is the best crypto exchange in the world with no fixed fees. But this week, I actually want to tell you about Sam.
He's the young super billionaire and founder of the FTX exchange.
And so we arrive at Sam Bankman-Fried, nickname SBF.
All right, Sam, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Sam Bankman-Fried. I'm the CEO and co-founder of FTX.
Did you ever imagine that at 25, when you got involved, you would now be one of the most important people in the crypto world and have become a multi-billionaire?
No, although...
Not only one of the nicest people in crypto, but one of the smartest as well. SBF, thanks for taking the time out of your day down in the Bahamas to join us. How you doing over there?
At only 30 years old, this guy had an estimated net worth of $26 billion. I mean, Forbes had already done an article on him. Save for Mark Zuckerberg, no one in history has ever gotten so rich so young.
Sam is a genius, an effective altruist, and he's also the wealthiest person under 30 in the world.
His hair was disheveled, His clothes usually consisted of loose-fitting t-shirts and a pair of shorts. You'd see pictures of him sleeping on beanbags in his office.
You trust the guy more when you see the car he drives. He's worth like $20 billion or something.
I mean, first of all, his appearance, he's only 29 years old, and he typically wears a t-shirt or a sweatshirt that has the FTX logo on it, khaki shorts.
Very often when people get wealthy, they buy fancy suits and so forth. You haven't gone to that phase yet, right?
Not so much.
He sounds a little bit like most tech bros I went to college with, not showering a ton, a really messy desk.
He was very much the tech nerd genius stereotype. When you searched him up online, you would see pictures with him and celebrities like Tom Brady, with politicians like Bill Clinton and Tony Blair. Then you find out that FTX was founded in 2019. In other words, nobody knew who this guy was a few years ago.
I spoke with Sam earlier this month where he alluded to his plans to give most of his fortune away.
Sam's biggest advantage was this image he had built himself, an image of a billionaire dedicated to giving his wealth away. What's not to love about that?
The guy you see next to me is the most generous billionaire in the world.
Do you have a sense of how much of your fortune you'd be willing to give away in the end?
In the end, I think almost all of it, right? Like, I'm not particularly excited to dive into luxury. I'm not excited about yachts.
A crypto billionaire plans to give away 99% of his money.
What about your own legacy, Sam? What impact would you want to leave on the world?
In the end, my goal is to do as much good as I can for the world. So I can prove, to the world that this isn't bullshit, that I really do mean it.
Around May of 2022, a guy called Mark Cohodes starts publicly broadcasting his views about FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried on Twitter. In the world of finance, Cohodes is what you would call a short seller, somebody that bets against the success of a company's stock, and if they're right, they make money. Only a few months after his initial tweets, he had sent an email to Bloomberg asking them to investigate Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. Cohodes was skeptical. And one of his biggest questions was related to Sam and his background. Just who was this guy really? And how did he achieve his status in such a short period of time? It was a fair question. To save the world, don't get a job at a charity, go work on Wall Street. That was the title of a post on a forum in 2013, 9 years before the Super Bowl of 2022. It was written by a guy called William McCaskill.
He is the Associate Professor of Philosophy at the University of Oxford, co-founder of the Effective Altruism movement.
For the last 10 years, my colleagues and I have developed a philosophy and research program that we call Effective Altruism.
He has pledged to donate everything you earn to organizations he believes will do the most good.
Effective Altruism is a philosophy and a community that's about trying to figure out how can we do as much good as possible with the time and money we have.
What it boiled down to, in its simplest form, was figuring out how to make the world a better place using the most evidence-based approach. One strategy was known as earning to give, which meant maximizing your own wealth so that you could give away more to charitable causes, or as others might put it, get filthy rich for charity's sake. He described a student who had been convinced by the philosophy and now works in finance at a trading firm called Jane Street, giving away 50% of his income to charitable causes. In the same year he made that forum post, McCaskill heard of another student at MIT that may be a good fit for the movement, a 24-year-old physics undergraduate who went by the name Sam Bankman-Fried. And just like that, Sam Bankman-Fried was introduced to effective altruism. He was a mathematics nerd with a passion for utilitarianism and a vegan who already engaged in animal rights activism. McCaskill persuaded Sam that instead of working for charity directly, he could make a greater impact by pursuing a high-paying career, then donate a substantial amount of his income to charitable causes. Sam was convinced, and just like the student mentioned in McCaskill's forum post, Sam decides to get a job at the same trading firm known as Jane Street. It was a popular firm amongst other effective altruists. Little did McCaskill realize just how much damage his new convert would cause the movement in the years to come. In the summer of 2021, Sam Bankman-Fried gets on a Zoom call with partners of Sequoia Capital, a venture capital firm. These were people who had invested in Apple, Google, Instagram, and I could go on. Point is, Sam was here to talk about FTX in the hopes of convincing Sequoia to invest money into the company. He tells them his vision for the exchange. I want FTX to be a place where you can do anything you want with your next dollar. You can buy Bitcoin, you can send money in whatever currency to any friend anywhere in the world. You can buy a banana. They were impressed. A few months after that Zoom call, they lead a round of investments for FTX which totaled almost $1 billion. And a year after that Zoom call, 2 months before the collapse, Sequoia Capital releases this 45-page article titled "Sam Bankman-Fried has a savior complex, and maybe you should too." In that article, they reveal that throughout the Zoom call, Sam had been playing one of his favorite video games, League of Legends. The article goes on to talk about Sam's commitment to the effective altruism movement, and when the author sits down with him for an interview, he becomes convinced that Sam is the real deal and may very well become the world's first trillionaire. They even go as far as saying that unlike other crypto companies, FTX has a unique selling point: their ethical behavior. There's this image of who Sam was that people were buying into: an effective altruist, a crypto genius, a nerd who played video games whilst casually pitching billion-dollar investors. Sequoia wasn't some exceptional case, they were just one of the many big institutional names investing into FTX. I mean, we're talking Temasek, SoftBank, BlackRock, Ontario Teachers Pension Fund. Who cares what the big boy institutions are doing, right? I mean, none of that means anything to the average person. Remember, 2021 was the year that everyone saw crypto as this fountain of wealth for those that put their money into it. To reach these people, FTX had to do one thing: get in front of the things that they cared about. The Miami Heat Arena, famous for hosting the Miami Heat NBA team. Well, in March of 2021, it became the FTX Arena after signing a 19-year deal for $135 million with FTX.
Throughout this year, they've been spending big bucks to get mainstream name recognition.
TSM, the popular esports organization most known for their League of Legends team. Forget that. It's TSM FTX now, thanks to a 10-year deal with FTX for $210 million.
FTX is putting their name everywhere.
Tom Brady, one of the greatest quarterbacks in football history. Well, he's not only an ambassador for FTX now, he's also given equity in the company, and the same goes for the Brazilian fashion model and Brady's wife at the time, Gisele Bündchen. The entirety of Major League Baseball, well, thanks to a 5-year partnership, FTX were to become the official cryptocurrency exchange of the MLB. Every single umpire had the FTX logo embroidered on their uniform. Formula One teams, the International Cricket Council, a baseball superstar, the Golden State Warriors.
You guys may have seen their ads. They're everywhere now.
I'm not an expert, and I don't need to be.
And who could forget Kevin O'Leary? One of the sharks on the popular show Shark Tank had been rather critical of the cryptocurrency space.
It is a useless currency. It is a useless currency. To me, it's garbage.
But come the crypto boom of 2021, and Kevin signs a $15 million deal with FTX to become an official spokesperson for the exchange.
If there's ever a place I could be that I'm not going to get in trouble, it's going to be at FTX.
Even some of the most popular finance influencers who generally gave safe investment advice were taking on sponsorship deals with FTX.
FTX US has been a sponsor here on the channel for the majority of the year.
I love FTX.
Among the cheapest fees out there.
Check out our sponsor, FTX US.
A lot of these influencers bought into Sam's image just as much as actual institutional investors did. The real question was, how much of that image was real or just a facade? After 3.5 years of working at Jane Street, Sam decides to quit. He had an appetite for risk, and by staying there, he felt like he could be missing out on other opportunities. One of his colleagues at the time, a 22-year-old named Caroline Ellison, witnessed it herself. Just like Sam, she too was an effective altruist with a love for mathematics. She thought it was unusual. I mean, Sam was quitting his high-paying job just because there may be other opportunities out there. Of course, Caroline Ellison had no idea at the time just how much her own career and personal life would become entangled with Sam's. Without a job, Sam starts writing a list of directions for his life. Those things included becoming a journalist, venturing into politics, fundraising for a non-profit, and building a startup. He would go on to achieve almost all of those things. But before making a decision, William McCaskill offers him a job at the Center of Effective Altruism, a company for the EA movement to conduct various activities. And whilst there, he befriends another member of the movement, a woman by the name of Tara McCauley, who was head of operations. That's when Sam started noticing something.
Overall, biggest winner of the day, Bitcoin rallied more than 10% today. It's up 438% for 2017.
The cryptocurrency has pushed past $7,000.
It just crossed the $16,000 threshold.
It is, in the next 20 years, $1 million a coin.
At this point, Sam didn't have much of an interest in cryptocurrencies, but in 2017, the cryptocurrency world was entering a mania. Although it was on a smaller scale to the one that followed in 2021, it got on Sam's radar.
This is late 2017, when you walk down the streets, you hear two people talking, you're like, that's probably about Bitcoin. I mean, I don't know, but pretty likely.
More importantly, Sam Bankman-Fried had spotted something that others had not, and he needed to act fast. In that same year of 2017, Sam and his fellow colleague Tara McCauley start a new company together. They call it Alameda Research. See this? This is it, right here. Everything that was to come. It all begins with Alameda Research. When you look at the name alone, Alameda sounds like a research company. In fact, that was intentional misdirection.
If you named your company like, we do cryptocurrency, Bitcoin arbitrage, no one's going to give you a bank account. That's your company name. But everyone wants to serve a research institute.
Alameda's true purpose was to operate as a cryptocurrency trading firm. In other words, they would be using their own money to invest into crypto-related assets in order to make a profit. But like I mentioned, Sam had noticed something. To purchase Bitcoin, most people used exchanges, and the price of Bitcoin generally remained the same across all exchanges in the world, with one exception. At the time, some countries in Asia had been selling Bitcoin for, in some cases, $5,000 more than what it was on other exchanges. In other words, you're looking at $5,000 profit per trade sitting on the table. It was practically free money. Just one problem. There were far too many obstacles in the way. Capital controls, financial regulations, anti-money laundering laws, and so on and so forth. Most people couldn't work out how to make the trade. Sam, however, had a card up his sleeve: effective altruism. Thanks to a Japanese member of the EA community, Sam was able to skirt around some of these obstacles. Sam also secured funding from wealthy effective altruist members, specifically a loan for $50 million from Jan Tarlin, the co-founder of Skype. Alameda Research would first buy Bitcoin on a US exchange, then sell it at a higher price on a Japanese exchange with the help of their Japanese friend. Now, the accounts differ on how much this made Alameda Research, some putting the figure at $10 million, others at $30 million. Either way, it was a success. But there's just one problem with opportunities like this. They don't last forever. Once people start to catch on, the markets tend to adjust themselves and it no longer becomes profitable. By January of 2018, Alameda could no longer exploit the opportunity. And then, something happened in April. An event that would be kept secret for a long time, an event that would rock the foundations of Sam's first company, an event that would expose a side of his character that would foreshadow much of what was to come in. Sam Bankman-Fried always wanted to get into politics since leaving Jane Street many years ago, and in 2021, he had a strong reason to follow that calling.
Binance has kind of been in trouble in a lot of countries in terms of regulatory issues.
Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, and how it just got banned in the United Kingdom.
Binance has been banned from Ontario, Canada.
Not authorized to operate in Japan either.
Throughout that year, regulators across the world were setting their sights on cryptocurrency exchanges, more specifically Binance. You know, the most popular cryptocurrency exchange at the time, owned by a guy called Changpeng Zhao. The UK, Japan, Singapore, Netherlands, and more were all warning Binance that they were not authorized to operate within their countries. Sam wanted to make sure that FTX wouldn't go down that same path.
How have you viewed what's been happening with Binance throughout the world in recent months or weeks?
I guess, something I'll say is that, we try really hard to be as cooperative as we can with regulators.
Then came a sign of hope. In September of 2021, FTX was granted regulatory approval in the Bahamas. Not long after that, Sam relocates the headquarters of both FTX and Alameda Research to the city of Nassau. Sam saw the as a country that could be at the heart of this industry, a Silicon Valley for crypto.
The arrival and presence of FTX underscores the readiness of the Bahamas to be a home for global leaders in the crypto space.
But that wasn't the only place Sam had his eyes on. Throughout 2021, he was looking at another prize, Washington, D.C. Only months after moving to the Bahamas, Sam recruits a new member into the FTX team, a guy called Mark Wetjen. Wetjen was a former commissioner for the CFTC, a regulatory agency in charge of regulating derivative markets in the US. In other words, he was Sam's key to the doors of US politics and regulation. What followed was pretty impressive. Only a month after hiring Wetjen, Sam appeared in Congress to testify for a hearing on digital assets and the future of finance.
The industry has the potential to improve a lot of people's lives. And we're also happy to talk with other regulators about potential products in the United States.
Right there, in that room, Sam was the face of cryptocurrency regulation. I mean, rather than resisting it, he was embracing it. FTX went on to make regulatory wins throughout 2021. We're talking Japan, Europe, Africa, Australia. They had gone down an entirely different path to Binance. Sam went on to become the 6th largest US political donor in the 2 years leading up to the midterm elections. We're talking an estimated number of $40 million in donations. Other FTX executives had also contributed. I mean, by the end of 2022, political donations associated with SBF and FTX executives exceeded $70 million.
Sam Bankman-Fried is the devil. He is the devil in crypto. This guy's literally trying to ruin crypto permanently. And you know what he says? Oh, that's not what I'm doing. You liar. You lie, Sam Bankman-Fried.
But Sam's political ambitions, they started to rub people the wrong way. One of the bills that Sam had been supporting was known as the DCCPA Act, a bill that would essentially make the CFTC the sole regulator of the crypto industry. But many in the crypto space accused this bill of being destructive to the cryptocurrency ecosystem, that Sam was trying to claim a monopoly on the industry.
Sam Bankman-Fried was trying to get some kind of legal monopoly over the crypto industry.
There was kind of this culture of silence in crypto around not opposing him, opposing his views.
And perhaps it exposed a side to Sam that people hadn't seen before. The part of him that believed that the ends justify the means, or a desire for his crypto empire to come out on top no matter what. If people had known what had happened at Alameda Research in 2018 during that month of April, then perhaps everyone might have seen it coming. Co-founder of Alameda Research, Tara McCauley, was growing frustrated. Not just her, but many of the Alameda Research employees. Whilst their initial trades of Bitcoin between the US and Japan had been successful, they were now losing money. And most of that blame was being put on the other co-founder, Sam Bankman-Fried. And there was this growing concern over Sam's alleged reckless actions, including poor trading decisions being made by him. In a post made on the Effective Altruism forum, an alleged employee describes how he constantly displayed a flagrant disregard for legal structures and safeguards, a belief that rules do not apply to him, an inclination to see the ends justifying the means. I mean, the picture that they painted of this guy was not of a genius, but of a young, inexperienced, reckless individual who was harming the company with poor management and trading decisions. So Tara, along with other high-level employees, decide to confront Sam. I mean, they tell him directly, you have to leave the company, your behavior can no longer be tolerated. That month of April would be known internally as the April fiasco. Sam's response? He refused to leave. Not long after that, Tara McCauley and close to half the employees at Alameda, many of whom were effective altruists, quit. Allegedly, those former employees raised concerns to higher members in the effective altruism community, warning of Sam's reckless behavior and how he was a bad representative for the movement. Those allegations were supposedly ignored or not taken seriously. This piece of the puzzle right here, it's the one that foreshadows everything. But by the time people would find out about the April fiasco, it would already be too late. With a large chunk of his employees gone from Alameda Research, Sam had to re-establish his team. First, you've got Gary Wang. I mean, he joined Alameda Research from its inception, at only 24 years old. Wang supposedly met Sam at a math summer camp in 2008. He was very much the technical brains of the business. Nishad Singh, Facebook employee only 5 months before joining Alameda Research, age 21 years old. Much like Wang, he helped with the technical infrastructure at Alameda. Then you have Caroline Ellison. Remember her? The former colleague of Sam's at Jane Street who saw him quit? Turns out Sam managed to convince her to leave that job. She joined Alameda Research not long before the April fiasco as a trader. Then we've got Andy Krogan, former employee to another trading firm and now the chief operating officer of Alameda Research. He was the adult in the room. Krogan had once told Sam to cut his hair, to which Sam replied, "I think it's important for people to think I look crazy." Now, when you look at this team, one thing sticks out. They're very young. With a trading firm like Alameda Research, the more money they have access to, the more they can trade and the more they can profit. So the Alameda team decides to put together a pitch deck, a presentation that's designed to attract potential investors to invest their funds with Alameda. I mean, it was filled with all sorts of insane claims. We're the best crypto trading firm in the United States. We haven't had a losing week in 6 months. They boasted high returns of 15% with no risk. These loans have no downside. I mean, to claim no risk and to say that they hadn't had a losing week, which seems to go against all accounts of what happened during the April fiasco. It felt as though Alameda was desperate for money. It's unlikely that this pitch deck was successful, but I guess that didn't matter because Sam had been working on a secret project.
So you got involved because you thought it would be a creative new area to get involved with?
I always wanted to start an exchange because they just seemed like really important products in the crypto ecosystem that were worth a lot.
You see, crypto exchanges make their money by charging a fee for every trade a person makes on their platform, right? So in other words, they make money regardless of whether the person making the trade is losing money. In May of 2019, Sam launches a brand new cryptocurrency exchange, FTX. He would be the majority owner, whilst Gary Wang, who helped build the infrastructure for it, would own 10%. Sam now owned both a cryptocurrency exchange and a cryptocurrency trading firm. See, there's something already bizarre about this all, and not just the fact that these companies are being run by young and arguably inexperienced people, but also the conflict of interest. Sam owning an exchange is fine, whatever, but owning his own trading firm, Alameda Research, which uses FTX as a platform, you see, that opens up a gaping hole. For example, how exactly does FTX ensure that no special privileges are given to Alameda? The Super Bowl of February 2022 was this defining moment for the crypto space. I mean, some even called it the Crypto Bowl because of how many crypto-related companies were advertising during the event. These companies had grown incredibly rich over the last few years, riding the waves of new investors from both institutions and regular people, all handing over their cash.
Definitely been an exciting year across crypto.
Bitcoin has a great track to 100K by the year end.
The bright orange future that is Bitcoin.
When you're riding high on the good times,
everyone and their mother was like, yeah, Bitcoin to 100K, to 1 million, to 10 million in 10 years.
The notion that the music building for the last few years could stop.
I had everything in crypto. And against my better judgment, I didn't cash out.
Seems impossible.
I'm not an expert, and I don't need to be.
Like I was saying, it's FTX. It's a safe and easy way to get into crypto.
Until...
I don't think so.
Until it does. FTX already started off successful. I mean, thanks to Alameda Research, they were able to provide volume to the exchange right from the jump. By July 2019, SBF was already in talks with investors. By August that same year, they managed to raise $8 million. Not only were they getting investments from venture capital firms, they were also raising money from their competition. You remember Binance, right? The top crypto exchange owned by a guy called CZ? Well, in December of that year, Binance invests an undisclosed amount into FTX, also taking an equity ownership in the company. It sparked what seemed to be a friendly relationship between CZ and SBF. Little did Sam realize that the very man who invested that money into his company would deal the final blow to his empire years later. But perhaps one of their smartest moves was the creation of FTT, a piece of the puzzle that would become instrumental in the years to come. See, in the world of cryptocurrencies, anyone can start their own coin. I mean, all they are is programmable money put on a database, or as others might put it, magical internet money from nothing that has no real value other than what people speculate its value to be. On July 29th, 2019, FTX launches their token coin called FTT with a total supply of 350 million, most of which was owned by Alameda and FTX. The launch was a success. I mean, by August, the price of FTT rose to $1.81, which made FTX and Alameda's supply of FTT tokens worth millions of dollars. Just like that. Magical internet money, right? But that's not the real stroke of genius here. You see, the truth is, since they were the majority holders of the token, they could never really sell all of it. I mean, the price of the tokens would completely crash if they tried to do that. No. But what they could do was point to their FTT tokens that are valued in the millions of dollars and use it as collateral to take out loans, or to simply say, oh, look how much we have in assets, even though part of that is really just FTT tokens whose value is mostly tied to speculation. It's almost insane to think about, but it worked.
Big story of the week was the collapse of Terra Luna. It was a rough week for crypto investors.
Terra Luna just crashed in 5 days from $90, 99% down to 72 cents.
Only months after the Super Bowl of 2022, a catastrophe in the cryptocurrency space was unfolding. Terra and Luna were two cryptocurrencies that had just crashed in value, wiping out an estimated $60 billion in the crypto space.
I don't think there's ever been a crypto event, a bad event this large in crypto history.
Terra Luna took all my monies.
What was 115 grand about a month ago was now about $2.
Man, the collapse of Terra and Luna was like, suddenly you go from relaxing to being jolted awake on high alert, because everyone is looking around and they're all asking, who will be the most affected by this? Who will be next? After the Terra and Luna cryptocurrencies collapsed, the dominoes began to fall bit by bit.
Crypto hedge fund Three Arrows Capital ordered by court to liquidate.
It had exposure to the now collapsed Terra USD stablecoin.
Everyone is intertwined in some way.
More pain in the world of crypto. Voyager Digital files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection.
Shouldn't have left my money in Voyager. Lost all my life savings in the bid.
A major crypto lender went from managing billions in assets to filing for bankruptcy.
I did just get fucked by Celsius last week.
Now, this is the third major crypto company to file for bankruptcy.
Coinbase is laying off workers along with BlockFi and Crypto.com. What is going on?
Throughout all of this, FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried were not only doing fine, they were doubling down on the industry. I mean, in fact, Sam was trying to rescue some of the companies that were going bankrupt by either giving them a line of credit or just straight up buying them out.
Crypto world is now going to get a bailout. Sam Bankman-Fried, CEO of crypto exchange FTX, is keeping the industry as prices take a hit. He's keeping them stable.
Today, it was announced that Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX was going to buy Voyager for roughly $1.4 billion.
Sam's empire wasn't shrinking amongst the chaos. It was growing. And he was being pitched as this savior. I mean, you had people coming out and calling him the JP Morgan of the cryptocurrency industry.
You bailed out some companies.
Yeah.
What money did you use to do that?
Do you still have enough cash if you needed to do another bailout? Yeah.
They call him the JP Morgan of crypto.
Lives a relatively understated life for a billionaire. He drives a Toyota Corolla to FTX's offices in the Bahamas. He lives with 10 roommates and a golden doodle named Gopher.
They want you to focus on this weirdo who sleeps on the beach in a commune, all shucksy, has CNBC down, and not look at what's really going on, whether it's money laundering or crime or covering it up or what's really going on behind the scenes.
Investors believed in Sam, or at least the very idea of him. Allegedly, Andy Krogan would make sure that investors visiting the headquarters would be able to see Sam sleeping on a beanbag, and then have him wake up and enter the meetings usually wearing shorts. it was intentional. Sam knew that more powerful than just a balance sheet is a story. By early 2022, FTX had raised billions of dollars from investors and was valued at $32 billion. Not a single one of FTX's big name investors sat on the board of directors to oversee Sam's operations, which was usually common practice. Investors would report that Sam wanted to run his company with little oversight, and if anyone was interested in investing, they should support that decision. Take it or leave it. In July of 2021, Sam solidified his ownership over his empire when he decided to buy back Changpeng Zhao, the founder of Binance's stake in his company, for a sizable chunk of FTT tokens in return. Sam Bankman-Fried was the reigning owner of his empire. With his focus primarily on FTX, Alameda Research was being ran by two individuals. Caroline Ellison was the first, who we already know of. But in 2019, Sam hires a 27-year-old named Sam Trabucco to join Alameda as a trader alongside Caroline Ellison. Trabucco first met SBF at a maths camp in 2010, and then 2 years later reconnected at MIT. There were some pretty bizarre tweets made by Trabucco in 2021. One tweet detailed Alameda's strategy of holding a position in Dogecoin, a cryptocurrency created from a meme based on tweets by Elon Musk. And in that same tweet thread, Trabucco brags about their ability at Alameda to make good bets. I mean, it paints this picture of Alameda Research, one that doesn't seem like a place with sophisticated individuals making calculated trades based on proper risk assessment.
Yeah, absolutely could pull it off without my math degree. Use very little math. Use a lot of elementary school math. Sam
Bankman-Fried ended up promoting both Ellison and Trabucco to CEO positions in Alameda in October of 2021. I know what you're thinking. I mean, of all the pieces of the puzzle so far, how could things possibly go wrong from here? But you're not paying attention. All the pieces, they are there. Leading up to November 2022, something started happening. In August, Sam Trabucco, the co-CEO of Alameda Research with Caroline Ellison, resigns from his position, stating that he's chosen to prioritize other things. A month later, Brett Harrison, president for the US subsidiary of FTX, resigns from his position. Then a month after that, an article comes out from the block saying that Jonathan Cheeseman, head of over-the-counter and institutional sales, left FTX last month as well. Something was up. Sam Bankman-Fried had managed to build himself this empire in only a few years, but the throne that he was sitting on was made of glass. And then it finally arrived. The CoinDesk report. CoinDesk, a well-known cryptocurrency publication, releases an article titled "Divisions in Sam Bankman-Fried's Crypto Empire Blur on His Trading Titan Alameda's Balance Sheet." Someone had leaked Alameda Research's balance sheet, and CoinDesk had managed to get their hands on it. See, a balance sheet can tell you a lot about the health of a company, namely how much money they have access to and how much money they owe. That CoinDesk report outlines that there are two divisions to Sam Bankman-Fried's empire: FTX, his crypto exchange, and Alameda Research, his crypto trading firm. This we already knew. Even though these two divisions were supposed to be completely separate from one another, CoinDesk stated that those divisions become a little bit blurry when you look at Alameda Research's balance sheet. Out of the $14.6 billion of assets shown on Alameda Research's balance sheet, a large portion of those assets were the FTT token. In other words, the majority of Alameda Research's equity was coming from an illiquid crypto token created by their own sister company. That report confirmed the fears that FTX and Alameda are closer linked than previously imagined. What followed would be a week of disaster. Changpeng Zhao, the founder of Binance, tweets to his millions of followers that he plans to sell all of the FTT tokens that Binance holds. If you remember, Binance had received a batch of FTT tokens when Sam Bankman-Fried repurchased Binance's shares in FTX a year prior. With that single tweet alone, shit hit the fan.
Binance says it will liquidate its entire position in the FTX token.
Binance CEO disclosed plans to exit the FTT positions as part of risk management strategy per tweet shared over the weekend.
Are you scared? Are you worried that your bags are going to go to zero?
Binance selling their chunk of FTT FTT would mean driving down the value of those tokens in the process. But perhaps even worse was the panic that that tweet caused. All anyone else could see from the outside was that Binance, the top crypto exchange, didn't believe in FTX anymore. Why? A few hours later, Caroline Ellison makes a tweet. She asks if CZ would be willing to sell his FTT tokens directly to Alameda Research for $22. In other words, preventing a massive crash in the price of FTT. Of course, that would be in Alameda Research's benefit, given that most of their assets were literally made up of FTT tokens. CZ basically refuses, tweeting that we won't pretend to make love after divorce and that we won't supply people who lobby against other industry players behind their backs. What you're looking at is a showdown between two of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges, all happening on Twitter. Whilst this is going on, the value of FTT tokens has been dropping rapidly. Panic and fear in situations like this are lethal.
If you know CZ, you know he never sells anything. He has a policy of long-term holding, and this, the way he framed it, made it sound like something was truly wrong with Alameda.
Binance is selling it all, okay? They're not even trying to hide it.
You see, the news about Alameda, it wasn't just a reflection on Alameda, it was a reflection on Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX as well. I mean, think about it. If you had your money deposited in FTX, all your life savings, and you find out that its sister company is facing troubles and that another titan of the industry from an even bigger exchange doesn't want anything to do with FTX, what would you do? Well, you'd probably want to get your money out of there.
All of a sudden, massive outflows from FTX. All of a sudden, everyone starts getting scared.
In banking, there's this concept known as a bank run. If people start to lose their confidence in a bank for whatever reason, customers are likely to start withdrawing money from their accounts. However, if the bank doesn't have enough money in its reserves to fulfill all of those withdrawals, it ultimately collapses. Crypto exchanges sort of operate like banks. You deposit your money into them, and for the most part, your money stays in that exchange's account until you eventually withdraw. Right now with FTX, anyone who doesn't want to withdraw will look at everyone else and go, well, I didn't want to withdraw, but I also don't want to be the victim of a bank run, so I kind of have to. As you can imagine, it's a pretty deadly cycle, and nothing fuels it better than panic and confusion. As the withdrawal requests on FTX start piling up, Sam puts out a tweet saying that FTX is fine, there's nothing to be worried about. They have enough money to cover all their customers' deposits. And then there's silence. It's CZ. He's now tweeting that FTX has asked for his help. He's saying that they were facing a liquidity crunch, but he signed a non-binding letter of intent to buy out his rival's company and save them from their time of distress.
The biggest story in all of crypto land.
Crypto exchange Binance announced a deal to buy rival ftx.com.
Probably the most dramatic deal I've ever seen in the history of the crypto industry.
For a moment, there was hope.
This is a chokehold. This is fighting your competitor until your competitor actually asks for your help.
This has been one hell of a roller coaster.
If FTX was facing a liquidity crunch, it simply meant that FTX has the money to support withdrawals. It just isn't able to get to that money fast enough. It's an issue that's solvable. At least, that's what we all thought. Only a day after CZ announces his potential buyout, Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal both publish articles stating that for months, the SEC and the CFTC, both US regulatory agents in charge of securities, have been investigating FTX. Specifically, whether FTX has been mishandling customer funds. Now hold on. Up to this point, the biggest concern was FTX having a liquidity crunch, being unable to fulfill on customer withdrawal requests. These investigations, though, they were suggesting something much more sinister.
Binance, as a result of corporate due diligence, as well as the latest news reports regarding mishandled customer funds, we have decided that we will not pursue the potential acquisition of ftx.com.
Binance, the largest crypto exchange in the world, is highly unlikely to go through with its proposed acquisition of struggling rival FTX after less than a day.
What just happened? It was happening and suddenly now it's not.
Binance said, quote, our hope was to be able to support FTX's customers, but the issues are beyond our control or ability to help.
Basically, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was in complete disbelief. I was just like, this isn't happening. Oh, this isn't real. This isn't real.
And that was it. The death sentence. Sam comes out with a Twitter thread saying that he's sorry. In that thread, he said that he's going to do right by the users, that he's doing everything he can to raise liquidity, that they're in talks with a number of players.
Tonight, the cryptocurrency world is reeling.
Just moments ago, FTX filed for bankruptcy.
From a $32 billion company to bankruptcy in the matter of just 4 days or so.
There's so much we don't know. There's so much we don't know.
Well, here's what we know. He's broke.
And he's in big trouble. He's in big trouble.
Up to this point, nobody truly knew. How did one of the largest crypto exchanges, ran by a man who was only a month ago seen as this savior to the crypto space, within a week suddenly file for bankruptcy? There was this sense of what the hell just happened? Whatever had gone wrong, whatever Sam had been hiding throughout all of these years, it was time for it all to come to light. Just a few days after declaring bankruptcy, Sam begins his now infamous tweet thread, which just began cryptically as "one what?" Over the next few hours, he starts tweeting a string of letters, eventually forming the words "happened."
I don't even know what is going on here. I mean, the incompetency here is absolutely mind-boggling here from SBF.
Like, who does this? Like, why would you do this? What is he trying to get attention? Is he just like toying with us?
When I saw what Sam was doing, it was like adding insult to injury.
Then came the media reports about how FTX may have been taking customer deposits and loaning them out to their sister company, Alameda Research, some figures citing $10 billion worth of loans. Now you have a situation where not only has the fall been so sudden, but there are accusations of seriously fraudulent behavior.
You're not going to believe this. Between 1 billion and 2 billion of FTX customer funds disappeared.
It's been one of the most depressing, one of the most difficult 56 hours of my life.
FTX, what is going on here, right? There's a lot of alarm bells ringing. There's not a lot of answers that are currently circulating.
There's this rising feeling of panic and confusion and anger. People were basically picking up their pitchforks and going, who is responsible for this? And of course, some of the first people to feel that anger were the former promoters of FTX.
I can't trust anybody now that had anything to do with FTX.
Very pissed off at these YouTube fluffers who have been promoting FTX over the past year or so.
All paid eye-watering amounts of money to promote this garbage.
I can't even begin to share how devastated and sorry I am.
A-list celebrities, plus Kevin O'Leary, told you what a great firm it was.
I don't think that guy has an evil bone in his body.
Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, is going around and in a despicable way, he's still standing up for Sam Bankman-Fried.
You can love him or hate him given what's happened, but he was one of the most brilliant traders in the crypto universe.
Tom Brady, Gisele Bündchen, Larry David, Naomi Osaka, and Steph Curry are among the celebrities accused in a class action lawsuit.
Class action lawsuit alleging that the crypto platform FTX misled customers, leading to billions of dollars in losses.
If you had money there, if you trusted them, if you played by the rules, your money's gone.
People wanted answers. How could this have happened? How didn't anyone see this happening? Most importantly, what just happened? Then came the bankruptcy filings from John Ray. Never in my career have I seen a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information as occurred here. Those were the infamous words from John Ray, the new CEO of FTX, whose job it was to preside over the bankruptcy proceedings. John Ray was the same person who oversaw the bankruptcy of Enron, one of the largest cases of corporate fraud in American history. In the FTX filings, John Ray paints this picture that starts to look really daunting. I mean, first, have a look at this. This right here is just a taste of how convoluted and complex Sam Bankman-Fried's empire really was. Every single box you see is a company, all of which fit under particular silos of the empire, including Alameda Research and FTX, all of which have their majority ownership tracing back to Sam Bankman-Fried. John Ray outlines how the empire fell under hands of a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated, and potentially compromised individuals. I mean, the stuff that came out from those filings just became more and more insane. SBF had supposedly been using applications to communicate, which was set to auto-delete after a short period of time, encouraging other employees to do the same. They had been using software to conceal the misuse of customer funds. One part in particular mentioned how Alameda Research was specifically given an exemption from the auto-liquidation protocol, which is a mechanism designed to stop customers on FTX from borrowing more money than they should be from the exchange.
It reveals some absolutely mind-boggling things, including, amongst others, the fact that FTX didn't even have an accountant.
As all of this is going on, I think most people expected Sam to go on the run, right? Or just to stay silent. Anything that wasn't what he actually did. The first big announcement came from the New York Times. They were hosting an event with some well-known speakers. And among those speakers was none other than Sam Bankman-Fried. The shock to everyone was threefold. I mean, first, that Sam is still active and staying in the Bahamas, seemingly facing no consequences for what's happening. Second, that the New York Times is platforming what may be the biggest financial criminal of the last decade. And third, that he isn't running, he's doing a damn media tour.
Sam Bankman-Fried joins us right now, live from the Bahamas.
I didn't ever try to commit fraud on anyone. I was excited about the prospects of FTX a month ago.
Was there commingling of funds? That's what it appears like. It appears like there's been a genuine commingling of the funds that are of FTX customers that were not supposed to be commingled with your separate firm.
I didn't knowingly commingle funds.
Sam admitted that mistakes were made, but pretty much denied any sort of fraudulent behavior.
The first network interview with Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX.
So you did know that FTX deposits were being funneled to Alameda?
So I was vaguely aware that that was how some wires were being sent in the first place.
Didn't that set off alarm bells in your head?
Look, I really deeply wish that I had taken a lot more responsibility for understanding what the details were of what was going on there.
Here's what Mark Cuban has to say about that.
Yep.
He said, if I were him, I'd be afraid of going to jail for a long time.
There were now stories coming out about FTX and its senior executives, including Sam Bankman-Fried's very own family, spending up to $300 million on property in the Bahamas. Other stories about how most of Sam's inner circle at FTX and Alameda were living in the same luxury penthouse apartment in the Bahamas. Rumors and allegations that all 10 had been involved in romantic relationships with each other. Old tweets of Caroline Ellison were brought to the surface of her use of amphetamines. The picture that was being painted was of young, inexperienced, and reckless executives running a company responsible for billions of dollars. Some described it as an operation ran by a gang of kids in the Bahamas. While Sam had all the limelight, it wasn't quite clear what was going on with other players in the story. Caroline Ellison had been missing, and some people reportedly spotted her in a Starbucks. Gary Wang also became a topic for conversation, namely, who the hell was this guy? Where did he come from? Because there was barely any information about him out there.
And his partner is a guy named Gary Wang. And no one can find shit on Gary Wang.
And the only thing you can really find on Gary Wang on the internet is one picture, and a picture of his back facing a computer where he was a advisor to Sequoia.
I think Sam was convinced that if he continued speaking, if he could keep telling people that his goal was to make customers whole, that he would be fine.
You're certain that it's once the dust has settled and once all the investigations have happened, that you won't be arrested for fraud?
I don't think I will be. I don't think that I tried to do anything wrong.
The once crowned king of crypto, now adorned in handcuffs. Former billionaire FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried, arrested in the Bahamas today.
On the 12th of December, Sam Bankman-Fried was eventually arrested in the Bahamas at the behest of the United States. Very shortly after that, both the SEC and the CFTC filed complaints against Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. Those documents, they alleged even worse allegations. Bankman-Fried raised more than $1.8 billion from investors. Unbeknownst to those investors, Bankman-Fried was orchestrating a massive years-long fraud, diverting billions of dollars of the trading platform's customer funds for his own personal benefit and to help grow his crypto empire. It just got progressively worse. These documents allege that from the very beginning of FTX's creation, FTX would take the money their customers deposited into their accounts and provide Alameda Research unlimited access to them. Those funds would then be used to make speculative investments, pay for lavish real estate, and even large political donations. Then, when the crypto market started crashing in 2022, Alameda Research couldn't pay back the loans that were now being demanded from them. So, FTX, at the orders of Sam Bankman-Fried, directed billions more of customers' assets to Alameda Research to pay those loans. Quote, there was no meaningful distinction between FTX customer funds and Alameda's own funds.
We're now just recapping the news that just broke. The SEC filing charges against Sam Bankman-Fried. Unbeknownst to those investors, Sam Bankman-Fried was orchestrating a massive years-long fraud, diverting billions of dollars.
The CFTC has now sued Sam Bankman-Fried for violations of federal commodities laws. There are also claims that those executives took hundreds of millions of dollars in loans from Alameda and used it to buy stuff like real estate.
Over the years, trusting customers had been putting their money into FTX accounts. Unbeknownst to them, their money would be taken and used for whatever means Sam Bankman-Fried saw fit.
I was following the situation quite well after all of this, and I was horrified. How did this go on for so long? How can it do these kinds of things without no oversight?
This morning, we unsealed an 8-count indictment charging Samuel Bankman-Fried, FTX's founder, with a series of interrelated fraud schemes that contributed to FTX's collapse.
Well, tonight, he's in jail in the Bahamas, facing U.S. charges in what a federal prosecutor calls one of the biggest financial frauds in American history.
Those charges included committing and conspiracy to commit wire fraud on customers and lenders, securities fraud, money laundering, and violation of campaign finance laws, a total of 8 criminal charges. Based on that information alone, Sam was looking at 115 years in prison.
The Southern District of New York has filed charges against Caroline Ellison, the former CEO of Alameda Research, and Gary Wang, a co-founder of FTX, in connection with their roles in the frauds that contributed to FTX's collapse. Both Ms. Ellison and Mr. Wang have pled guilty to those charges.
The once inner circle members of Sam Bankman-Fried's empire had now turned against him. From his jail cell in the Bahamas, Sam Bankman-Fried would agree to be extradited back to the United States, where he pled not guilty to the charges levied against him, setting himself up for a trial in October of 2023. In the meantime, Sam Bankman-Fried remains on house arrest at his parents' home in California. Only a month ago, this was a man who was at the height of his fame and reputation. That was all shattered in a matter of weeks. FTX had exposed a resounding failure on so many fronts, and ultimately, the price was paid, not by Sam Bankman-Fried, but by the real victims in this story. It's easy to throw around headlines with big million-dollar figures of losses, but the real losses came from those who didn't have millions to lose.
It felt like everything I worked up to this point in my life has been just like there were different memories flashing in my head of all the raises you get at work, of all the money you get, Christmas bonuses. It would be all the same if I just took those checks and burned them and thrown them into the wind or whatever.
What would you say to Sam Bankman-Fried if you could speak to him?
If I could appeal to his humanity, if there's any left, I would just ask him to make it right. You can't even imagine what this did to people that are way less fortunate than you, and how it really destroyed lives.
I wish I could say that this story ends here, but I don't think that's the case. Arguably, one of the biggest catalysts for FTX's collapse began with Changpeng Zhao, otherwise known as CZ, the owner of the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world, Binance. Binance, throughout its years, has struggled with regulators and plagued with allegations of allowing money laundering through its platform.
A hackers group called Lazarus, which funds the North Korean weapons program. Hydra, which is a dark net drug dealing network, Rand Effects, which is run by organized criminals. The thing they have all got in common is they used a crypto exchange platform called Binance.
Binance, just like FTX, has their own token called BNB. And just like FTX, Binance are the majority holders of that coin. Changpeng Zhao, in addition to being the majority owner of Binance, is associated with 2 other crypto trading firms, much like Alameda Research, one of which has been reported to have received around $400 million from the US Binance exchange. Now, it's unclear whether that money came from customer funds or not, and Binance has said that these findings are outdated, but without any further elaboration. After the events of FTX, Binance releases a proof of reserves audit from a third party in an attempt to showcase their transparency and prove that all customer assets on the platform are fully backed. That report has since been taken down by the firm who performed the audit, citing concerns over the way these reports are understood by the public and that they have limitations when providing assurances to customers.
This is a little bit of
Federal Reserve. You can take that money and reinvest it in treasury bonds or in government agency securities, and you will get the spread. And you could do it over and over. You're essentially borrowing from the government and lending to the government and taking a cut. And
so the government's let them make the money.
Well, the government is still subsidizing these firms because the losses were sensational. I mean, in the financial system, there are now $1.75 trillion of losses from the subprime mortgage bonanza. And that's, they're firms that really, they really shouldn't exist. If the market had been allowed to function, they would not exist. They'd be failed enterprises. I mean, even now, if the government said, we have nothing to do with these places anymore, we're going to let them fail if they fail, they no longer have this effective government guarantee, and by the way, we're going to cut out these subsidies that we're handing them under the table, most of them would fail.
But none of that has changed the Wall Street bonus culture. Lewis says there is a sense of entitlement to outrageous compensation that he thinks is way out of proportion to its contribution to the U.S. economy.
How did that happen? That somebody thinks they're worth automatically millions of dollars a year?
Well, when you're surrounded by a lot of other people who are being paid millions of dollars a year, you're not thinking, oh, it's outrageous for someone to pay me millions of dollars a year. You're thinking, it's outrageous that Jim got $500,000 more than me. That they're looking to each other as reference points rather than to the larger society.
Are they worth that kind of money?
What do you mean? Are they worth that kind of money?
Do they deserve all that money?
Again, what do you mean, do they deserve it? They worked really hard. They spent a lot of hours in the office. So you can't begrudge someone who starts a company and employs lots of people and so on and so forth for making a lot of money. I don't mind people making a lot of money. On Wall Street, the business has become very obviously divorced from productivity, from productive enterprise. So in that sense, no, they don't deserve it. They didn't earn it. What they did was finagle it. They were very good at putting themselves in the middle of large financial transactions that probably shouldn't have happened in the first place and taking out little pieces of it. They generated trillions of dollars of subprime mortgage loans that should never have been made. But the world would be better off if that whole industry had never existed. So that's crazy.
Lewis says the more people learn about what happened, the angrier they become.
What about reform? I mean, do you see anything happening?
There are several things that obviously should be done that have not been done. And you can't explain to my mother why they haven't been done. Only a really smart person on Wall Street can explain why they haven't been done. But for example, all right, one of the things at the bottom of this crisis, we had these ratings agencies that called a lot of things AAA, gold-plated securities that were worthless. And the ratings agencies are paid, of course, by the Wall Street firms for their ratings. Why is that allowed? Why can you buy a rating? That seems like a very obvious thing to change. And people talk about it, but it hadn't happened. Credit default swaps, insurance contracts that we trade freely, but it's not classified as insurance. This market is the closest thing to sort of ground zero of the recent calamity. and yet nothing has been done to change the market. Nothing's been done to make it more transparent. Nothing's been done to make it more like what it is, an insurance market. That's an obvious reform. From the time I was at Salomon Brothers, it was incredible to me that the firm could advise customers what to buy and sell. At the same time, they are betting on the things that they're trying to sell their customers. So I might call you up and say, wow, these subprime mortgage loans, they look really, really good. This pile over here, you ought to invest in that pile. And meanwhile, the traders behind me are betting against it.
Lewis believes the financial industry is living in a world so disconnected from American life that it can't be sustained.